Well, I don't get to see, I work at night, so I don't get to see it very often. I catch bits and pieces.
Is he good?
Oh,
Good.
yes. Oh, of course. Yeah, he does a fright wig. No, it
Look
looks
like you
fine.
scared a wolf.
All right, now, you're close up on Peter, right? You're not doing a two-shot yet? Oh, okay. All right. Well, Peter, I want to welcome you back to Dallas, and particularly on this happy occasion when you have been honored by the USA Film Festival and when you've been showing your new picture, They All Laughed.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. I always like to come to Texas because, you know, it's kind of it was a place where I had a lot of good fortune with that first picture I did.
Yes, the last picture show.
Right.
They All Laughed, of course, you not only directed it, you wrote it. And I wonder, Peter, did you write it with those particular people in mind?
Very much. It was written almost tailor-made for all the people in the picture. Every line was written with the people in mind, you know, who played the parts. And in fact, the actors were, in a way, you could say, collaborators on the script because, you know, I used a lot of their own characteristics for the characters that they were playing. In some cases, I even used things that had happened to those people that they told me about, or that had happened to friends of theirs. Colleen Camp, several of the things that in the picture, you know, happened to her. Same thing with Audrey, and Ben, and Dorothy Stratton. Everybody in the picture was playing a sort of version of themselves. And so, it sure was tailor-made for them, yeah.
Did you like the TV movie they did on Dorothy Stratton?
I didn't watch it, but my lawyers worked on, you know, making it possible so that we didn't have to sue them. I saw who was going to play it, and I read the script, and it bore no relation to any reality known to, you know, anybody that knew Dorothy or me.
Really?
No, it was the girl who played it could not have been more wrong for the part, and the way the story was told was, you know, sort of on a comic strip level of reality. I thought it was in the worst possible taste and the worst possible artistic ability.
But you didn't sue them, or you're not going to sue them?
No, it wasn't. The tragedy about the law is that there's a law that says that the dead have no rights, and nor do their rights pass on to the heirs in terms of anything you can say about them. Once somebody's dead, they're history, and you can do whatever you want. I think is ridiculous, but nevertheless. So we didn't sue them.
Dorothy Stratton, as I told you, Peter, I have not yet seen the film, but in the clips, my goodness, she has a tremendous charisma and just that, whatever that thing is, that...
Makes a star, yeah.
Right.
She had that in spades. She was the most natural young actress I've ever worked with. She was amazing. She had everything that you could have. She had timing, and she had wit. She had, of course, looks, and she had a very ingenuous personality. People liked her a lot. She was also extremely professional. I would say probably the most professional person on the picture were her and Audrey, two Dutch ladies. They both, you know, were always there on time and knew their words and didn't complain, and it was a tough picture to do, and, you know. No, she was amazing.
She is being compared, of course, with Marilyn Monroe. Her background, her life, did it have any resemblance at all? Because the
To Marilyn's?
Uh-huh.
None. No. I never knew Marilyn Monroe. I knew a lot of people who knew her, but and maybe there was some certain similarities. I think they both, but I can't speculate on it. You know, I really don't know.
In other words, she did not have an unhappy childhood, as far as you know?
Well, she came from a broken home. I mean, the father abandoned the mother and the two children. But her mother, whom I got to know afterward, is an amazing and wonderful woman who gave Dorothy a lot of love and attention, and there was love there. And the problem was there was no father. And the other problem was that her mother was a foreigner. I mean, when I say a foreigner, I mean literally she was from Holland and she was in Canada, and she, learned the language after she arrived, so to speak. And it was difficult for her. It was a difficult childhood. They didn't have a lot of money. Dorothy was working from the time she was 7. She was very helpful with her mother and so on. She had a steady job for years. I've written a book about her, which William Morrow is going to publish in February. It's the story of Dorothy as I knew her, and it's all told through my eyes and through what I learned about her after, and it tells the truth. So it's all in there.
Well, we'll look forward to that. Maybe you'll tour again, and we'll have a chance after we read the book to talk with you about it, Peter.
It's a very much of a woman's story.
Mm-hmm. This picture, they all laughed, and it's a comedy and a kind of caper and romance and a pure entertainment type movie, what I call a movie. Yet the picture has been surrounded not only with the tragedy of Dorothy Stratton's death, but just getting the thing into theaters. Now, what was the problem that Fox first was going to release it and then they backed out? What was that about?
Well, it was very complicated, and the trouble is that the movie really didn't cause any of these problems. The movie was a kind of innocent bystander, as Time Life Films put up the money for the picture. Fox actually had hardly any money in the movie. Time Life decided to go out of business as a film producing organization about 3 or 4 months, 2 months after we were pretty much ready with the picture. This had a rather bad effect on Fox, who had made a deal with them to distribute all of their pictures. Suddenly, 12 pictures that they'd been counting on were gone, weren't going to be made. And Fox was not very happy with that. So those two companies now were at odds. Our picture is now sitting there waiting. At the same time, Fox was bought by another company, by a man who just bought it lock, stock, and barrel. But that negotiation went on for a while. And in fact, it went on for quite a while, and then it fell apart, and then it got put back together again. All this time, of course, everybody's sitting around wanting to know, we're sitting around wondering, when is this, when is our picture going to come out? Well, everybody's saying, well, we can't do anything until we know what the new management is, you see. Then it fell through, and then we were saying, okay, now we're going to, and then it all started up again. So this went on for months. Meanwhile, we're just sitting there. And finally, Fox was rather nervous about doing anything. When you have a new management, you want to impress the boss. So you just sure don't want to make any mistakes, and you don't want to take any chances. So they they kind of did some test engagements on the picture, which were not particularly rewarding. It was a terrible ad campaign that they did, and there was just it's a difficult picture to sell, and they did it poorly. So then there was another wait. What should we do now to see how are we going to sell this movie? Well, this was now almost a year after we'd finished the picture, well over a year. And there's the phone. And I don't know who's going to get that. Can you cut a minute?
Yeah, let's just stop.
I'm sorry. I don't know what that is.
At least I'll have the information. I can do a little
Well, finally, after a lot of headaches, the picture was shown at the Venice Film Festival in Venice, Italy. It opened the festival there, and it was a tremendous success. At the same time that Fox was, still trying to decide what to do. I got kind of sore at that point because, I knew the picture worked. It just was trying to get it out to the public. So I made an arrangement with Time Inc. and with Fox to buy the picture back from them. And, you know, it kind of gave him a big down payment and put up quite a bit of money, about $2 million overall, to open the picture. And we did. Toward the end of last year, November, December, we opened a few little places. But now came another problem, which was that we were up against all the big Christmas and Thanksgiving pictures, fighting that. Plus, it turned out to be the worst Christmas in the history of movies. So we kind of pulled in our horns and waited till January, and then opened in a couple other places. And we opened in Seattle and Los Angeles, and the picture did very, very well in those two places, and a few other towns. But distribution is a whole nother ball game, and it's one that I'm not very, wasn't very good at. So I finally decided, after, for the good of the picture, that it'd be best to see if we could finally get a distributor that would, in fact, take the picture out. And so now we're concluding a deal with UA Classics to take it over, and that should get it out in a faster way than I'm able to do.
Altogether, Peter.
Rather a checkered career that picture's had.
Yes. Altogether, then, about how much money do you have tied up in the picture, both production and all?
Well, the picture, to make the picture, which was Time Inc.'s money, cost about $8 million. And I have about $2.5 million tied up in it myself.
So $10.5, $11
Yeah.
million. Yeah. Okay. Well, Peter, it's good seeing you again,
It's good to
and
see you.
I look forward to seeing the picture when it does open, and
Well, it'll be here.
We hope that'll be soon.
I hope so. It's always good to be in Texas, you know, because of the last picture show. There's a soft spot in my heart for this state, and the people are so nice here, you know.
Is it your favorite picture show?
Well, I think it's one of my favorites, certainly one of my 2 or 3 favorites. I think They All Laugh is my favorite. It's just a kind of movie that I like. But certainly the last picture show was, you know, you don't get that lucky too often. So, yeah, sure, I love that picture.
And how old were you when you made that?
30.
Incredible. Well, Peter, many more good years ahead of you,
Thank
I'm
you,
sure.
Bobbie. Thanks a lot.
Okay, just hold now for some cutaways. They can start really making any money, then maybe they felt they didn't have a choice. Also, there's a bit of a risk that maybe the movie won't have legs, you know, maybe it'll open big and maybe not sustain for 3 or 4 months. So, but somebody did a story asking the public that ran, would you pay $6 to go see Annie? And most of the people exempted.
World.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never saw the show. I never saw it, but my kids liked it. I don't know. I haven't got that much interest in it personally, but you know, it's obviously a lot of people are going to have interest in it. Popeye was a picture that, you know, they asked me to do. You know, they offered me $2 million to do it. It's amazing, you know. I didn't think about it for very long, about an hour. And I said, no, I didn't even like the cartoon of Popeye. And I never liked Little Orphan Annie either. But anyway, $6 a ticket is just too damn much. I was thinking the opposite. I was thinking they ought to start lowering the prices, maybe to get more people in. But I think that the reason they're doing it, they think a lot of people are going to come to see it, so they'll pay the $6 if they want to see it.